This podcast is sponsored by YRC Real Estate Group, offering a tailor-made service, versatility and expertise for all your real estate needs. Are you thinking about selling, buying, investing or having your properties managed? For more information, check our website, www.yrcrealestategroup.com. We are passionate about real estate and we love to support local businesses. We hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Cheers.
Who we have on the podcast?
How the hell are you, folks?
What's up, Satter?
Not a hell of a lot. How are you?
Good.
What are we getting into today?
Exactly.
A little bit of whiskey and e-commerce.
It's pretty good. I like the honey. It goes back pretty smooth.
It actually is, yeah.
Like, especially even if you slam it.
Yeah, I'll slam some shit.
No, I don't want to slam.
I'll fucking slam it.
I haven't had lunch yet.
They will be wasted.
Yeah, I could get really red.
Yeah.
I'll be shit canned. I haven't had lunch either. I'll get shit canned right quick. No partial sends today, boys.
We got some. Well, I could wrap it up. We got a bunch of stuff to wrap up before.
Yeah, I gotta get some work.
Yeah, we have like.
But we'll go out after.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
What do you mean wrapped up?
We got like a few listings to just check over.
You guys are so mature, it's unreal.
We have to, man.
I feel like if I had that kind of dedication to my life, I'd actually be getting somewhere.
Mature. Yeah.
I need a schedule.
You do?
I just showed him my calendar, and I'm
Yeah,
like, dude,
I'll show
you
you
need.
mine.
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, I'd show you my calendar, but I don't have one.
Dude, you need one, man. It's a game changer.
I need structure in my life. Yeah. Whitney showed me her calendar. I was like, whoa. She gets up, I got this time booked for this thing. I'm like, I'm just going to send it today.
Mine's like down to 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Like in between. I have to schedule everything. Otherwise, my life's fucked.
So you well, I imagine, yeah, especially with dealing with people all the time.
Yeah.
Do you schedule in free time?
Yeah, I do. I schedule in free time first.
Yeah, it's most important.
And then I schedule my work life around my free time.
I feel like that's very wise.
Yeah.
I've been trying to schedule my free time, and it keeps getting taken up by work.
You gotta set boundaries. You gotta set boundaries, bro.
I'm like, no working Sundays. And it's like, all right, we could slip it in. But
that's where I'm at when I get carried away. I go too far to one side, and I'm working all the time, and I'm trying to figure something out, and I don't schedule any fun time, then I get burnt out, or it's the other way. I do nothing, and then I get, nothing done.
Yeah.
I get fun stuff done. To get cars done.
Yeah. I don't even get that done. I literally just got my car started last week when that weather was nice.
Is that the hot rodded one?
The Integra, yeah. And then
you have like 3 of those, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, which one though?
Oh, the Type R.
The one you drive.
Yeah. The one that you're wearing.
Yeah.
But like I was trying to get that on the road last weekend when it was like nice out, and then I like missed it and it just fucking snowed this whole week.
You're probably better off though.
Yeah.
I took my Cobra out for a drive and there was rocks everywhere.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Oh well.
totally. Well, should we have an introduction for you or what?
Yeah, go through.
Well, let's get it going.
Well, are we not going?
We're going, but we need some. Who are you? We need some introduction here, man.
What's the best way to describe me?
Well, I was saying it'll be part of the podcast on how to introduce you. So, first of all, let's welcome Tanner O'Crane.
Well, howdy.
The realest Canadian that you'll ever meet.
I don't know. Fairly Canadian.
But yeah, we welcome Tanner O'Crane. We didn't really know how to introduce him. He does a lot of e-commerce mostly.
Yeah.
99% e-commerce.
99% e-commerce, and we actually worked with Tanner. Was that a year ago? 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Found me my dream home.
Found you your dream home.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about real estate. We get to meet different types of people, I would say, right?
Yeah.
I think there's people from all walks of life.
Exactly.
I feel like it's good to just meet people that do different things, and I think that's kind of how we got into the podcast stuff is just like the amount of businesses clients actually own and operate, right? So.
Yeah. No, I know it's been a cool thing learning about real estate and trying to find investment properties, and I'm starting small at it right now, but the community I've started to kind of get on with it is kind of cool. I mean, it's really cool. You're meeting a lot of people with different goals, but it's all kind of the same thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
It is.
Yeah. There's that Canadian stuff.
Can't
hold that back.
But yeah, tell us I think at one point you said you were rated top 500 Amazon seller. I didn't even know there was a ranking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how the ranking works, but when I started, I was definitely I want to say I was like under top 100, but I can't remember. I was up there somewhere, and then this was when it was lucrative, and no one else really was selling. Like, there was people selling online, but it was like witchcraft then, right?
Yeah.
Especially
Closer to the mic.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, there. That's a lot better.
Behind it.
Yeah.
Back it up, Terry. Yeah, I feel like it was so new then. This was probably about 7 years ago that it was easy to rank. Like, I mean, we were pushing a lot of volume, but nothing compared to what some people are now. I mean, you say now we're pretty irrelevant, but at the time, yeah, I was definitely top something. It was kind of cool to see. But you would just like do a Google search and you would type in your storefront name, and it would tell you kind of where you were at. I don't remember what they call it though.
So, what type of e-commerce do you do? Because I know there's like a lot of different types. There's drop shipping. There's arbitrage.
Arbitrage.
Retail arbitrage.
I'm the arbitrage guy. Yeah, there's drop shipping's like it's real. I mean, I've learned ways to do it, and I've had a bit of success with launching my own product. A couple products. Out of 4 of them, one of them was pretty successful. But as far as the drop shipping point, I mean, I kind of still had it come to me, and then I would push it out. You know, I inspect it myself. But the idea of drop shipping is that you don't touch it. You just, you get you get a hold of the manufacturer and they send it out. But you can have a pretty good turn back rate for that kind of stuff, though.
Oh yeah, because of quality, right?
Yeah, so you're supposed to pull back every 5 shipments and check it, like your first one, then your 5th one, your 10th one, and just keep an eye on things. But I mean, the first one and the second one we ever pulled back, each one of them had products with like missing charger cables in it or things like that. So yeah, so I haven't done too much of that. It's mostly just arbitrage, which is making a profit between two markets. It's like the US and Canada. So we flip a lot of things from Canada to the US and then vice versa. There's so many other countries you can sell into, like UK and Mexico.
You're almost like collecting on the exchange of it.
Yeah.
And the discount that you're getting on that margin.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, the supply and the demand thing, right? Things they don't have in the States that we have here, and then the exchange rate, you kind of work all the numbers and see if it's feasible to ship it down there and sell it. It's same with the Canadian stuff right now, though, because Amazon.ca is becoming so much bigger than it used to be. They used to be so irrelevant. It was so much farther behind the U.S. stuff. But now it's becoming... You want that mic closer? But now that it's becoming so much more relevant, you can actually make the difference up from the States and importing into Canada. It's just finding a way to get it into here because not many people offer that service.
Yeah, because I feel like there's a lot of products in the U.S. that you can't even get in Canada that people want, right?
Tons. Same with us. Like I literally sell like some candies and chocolate bars.
What?
That people go nuts for down there. They just they don't have it, right? It's like
Ketchup chips?
That's there you go. Ketchup
What?
chips.
They don't have ketchup chips on there?
They don't have ketchup chips in the United States.
I don't know if that's true. Don't quote us on that.
No.
I'm pretty sure it's a thing though.
Yeah.
Because I know you could buy like Lay's ketchup chips here for like $3 a bag.
Yeah.
And you can sell them down there for like it was like $30 or $40 a bag.
They don't have
What?
they don't have the same type of chips that they do everywhere. Like even in the UK,
crazy.
like you can't get like Lay's. I think it's called Walkers in the UK.
Yep.
They have totally different flavors that you cannot get here in Canada.
I know.
Like the shrimp cocktail. That one's
nuts.
fucking amazing.
Can't say I've ever tried it.
It's so good.
You can't get Clamato juice in the States. I know that for sure.
Because it's a Canadian thing,
Yeah, I don't know.
So that you might just told me another product I could possibly
Yeah,
flip.
Clamato. Because every time we went to Vegas, they never had it. It was they call it a Bloody Mary.
V8 probably they have or something.
No, it's literally tomato juice. They call that a Caesar.
They're just squeezing tomatoes out in front of you.
Seriously, I'm like, this is not a. You guys have no idea what a real Caesar is right down there.
Because Clamato's got clam juice in it or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules and regulation is, but yeah, they might now. I don't know, but
Their darts down there are a different ball game.
Yeah.
Cigarettes up here. I mean, that's what we're calling them darts. But down there, I mean, they just have like really kind of gross cigarettes. There's some good ones, don't get me wrong, but we have the flavors up here.
Oh yeah.
Then you go to Mexico, that's where it gets good. That's where the darts are premium.
Primo darts.
You got them camel cherry ones, you break the thing, it just tastes like cherry or grape. We don't have that here anymore. Regulations.
Are you allowed to flip cigarettes though?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think you can.
No.
I don't think I can flip tobacco. I think there's a certain licensing for that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought that for groceries as well in the beginning, but here I am flipping groceries. So I don't know. Maybe there's
That's
some
crazy.
door there, or loophole or approval you have to have. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I feel like there's probably a lot of Canadians down there that want just like Canadian things that
They're
can't
working
get.
down there and they want their cigarettes from here, like Canadian classics or something, right? When I go down there, I'm on vacation because I don't smoke much. But when I'm on vacation, I'm smoking, I'm drinking, whatever. But I'm down there and I'm like, you got Marlboros, okay, whatever. They're like $2 a pack. I'll smoke them, but
They're not good.
they're not that good. No. Like I said, Mexico, a different story though. You're smoking Camel cherries on the beach. They're good.
Are you selling in Mexico too?
No, I should be though. I've contemplated it in the past.
Can you from Amazon?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh
You
shit.
sell it everywhere in Amazon. Is it?
Yeah, you do whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
I know a guy who does Mexico, Canada, UK, the US, and whatever other market. He's like in all of them.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So the way you're doing most of your sales is arbitrage. Is that right? Or are you?
Yeah, well, I'm FBA, fulfillment by Amazon, and then
Okay.
arbitrage is my game. Yeah, it's just
For,
finding
for those people that don't know, what is FBA?
fulfillment by Amazon. So basically, Amazon has all these warehouses across the U.S. You ship your product to them, and they take care of all the distribution for you, basically. So you get the product, you send it to them. That's why dropshipping works so good. Because if you actually have a good in with a manufacturer and you're able to successfully brand a product, you can just have it drop shipped to them. They take care of everything for you. But you pay your fees for that, right?
Yeah,
It's like having an employee working for you for like $5 an hour, let's say.
Yeah, because they charge a percentage just to store it and all that stuff to handle the shipping and
Storage
everything.
fees are a new thing that weren't a thing when I started.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a free world back then. Like you could just list any product you wanted at any time. But then the counterfeit stuff got out of control and they had to start regulating things. And now it's like when people say, hey, can I start an Amazon? It's like, well, it's not like it used to be. So I don't know what kind of advice to give you because now you have to get ungated in a lot of categories, which means you have to have good suppliers and trustworthy people who are selling you the products that you are now selling through Amazon. Quality, yeah. So there's these little, like, say, for example, for selling in the entertainment DVD category, that's a hard one to get approved in. But you have to have a supplier that is legit and trusted because there's such a big surge in counterfeit DVDs in the past, like, probably 5 years that they just had to start gating people. But I'm grandfathered into all that because I've been selling since day one and I've built a feedback with and a trusting relationship with Amazon. So
That's sweet.
yeah, it's kind of a cool thing. Some people are like, how can I sell? I'm like, different ball game. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
You're like, I don't know what to tell you, young feller.
yeah, I'm gonna tell you, young feller.
Young
Good
feller.
luck.
Young feller. But
I don't tell you there, bud.
But before we get more into the Amazon world, which I think we're really interested in, tell us how you got into it and what you're doing before and why you got into it and what you're doing before and how you kind of built that up.
Segued into it.
Segued into it. I love this story because it's a really random one. Basically, I had a buddy who was into internet stuff like way back, like 2005-ish, in there somewhere. And he had bought a house beside me, and I was like the only guy my age to own a house. So all my other buddies were hanging out, still living with their parents and stuff. But this guy moves in the house beside me, which was a friend's parents' house. And he moved into this house, and I said, oh, you're renting this off so-and-so's mom? No, I bought it. I'm like, I asked him what he paid for, and we just were exchanging numbers that way. And I said, oh, yeah, what's your mortgage like? Whatever. And it came up that he had bought it cash. And I'm like, how'd you buy it cash? And he's like, well, I'm like, I don't believe you. He's telling me he worked road construction at like $16 an hour, and he saved up for 3 months, and he had a horrible story. Horrible liar, this guy. Horrible liar. So he tells me he saved up through road construction and this and that. And this went on for about a month. I didn't really question it much, but I was interested because I knew he was hiding something. One day, he opens his door to let me into his home, and he went to the bathroom or forgot. He left his bedroom door open, though, and I heard all this humming. I'm like, what the hell's that? Let's go around the corner. I don't know what I'm going to find, right? I'm like, what's this going to be? It's like 7 computer monitors on the wall, all running auto clickers. And here's Mafia Wars, the Facebook game.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all over the screen. It's running auto clickers. He's like farming like pitchforks and guns and stuff. I'm like, what's going on here? He's like, I guess I can tell you now. I'm like, please do.
That game was sweet back then.
Yeah, I never played it, but I remember everyone being into it. It looked like a fun game. So he explained to me that he would farm a bunch of things, and he would level up these accounts. He'd have computers, separate ones running for each one of them. And the things he had farmed, he would sell. But I guess he networked himself some point to where he could find people to sell these things to.
Like the items, right?
The items, yeah.
Just for the people that don't understand, what is farming? What do you mean by farming?
Farming is just like playing a game until you collect like specific items that people can use in the game.
Like you're leveling up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're building whatever up to a certain level.
Yeah, where you're obtaining all these little things. You got all this excess inventory, let's say, in your
like money.
arsenal of.
But when you're farming, it's kind of more automatic. Is that right?
He's using bots.
He's using bots. He made it fully automatic with auto clickers.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically he knew this one guy. I didn't when he was telling me this stuff. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, let's be real here. You're farming. You know, this is like mid 2000s. So you know, to a lot of people, like for me to even really comprehend that, I couldn't. Yeah. But I knew there was something he was doing that was completely different from anyone else that I knew. So it intrigued me so much. So I kept asking him. He's like, I'll show you my bank account information. And he started showing me the transactions coming into his bank account. And there was like this. He knew this guy from Miami who owned a casino who was addicted to this game, who would buy these guns and pitchforks off him, and like he had like $5,000 come in 1 month from just this one guy.
Some mob guy.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, some guy's like just living on. He's like, I love this shit still. You know, he's doing his thing, but he was buying all this stuff through this guy. And
you know what's so funny? If we're talking about the same guy, I think we are.
Yeah,
He showed me the same thing. And
because he's a mutual friend of ours.
Yeah. He's like, yo, look at my bank account. And I was like, I just met you. And he's like, look at all this money.
Well, he started out like in his mom's basement or something on World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Making money on that
It's
somehow.
huge. Yeah, World of Warcraft and Diablo.
Yeah.
Like,
Diablo,
I know a lot
one,
of guys that were farming stuff for them and selling just like really like rare items.
Yep.
Like just like
you
weapons.
have to level up to get it, and X amount of this or that. Yeah,
because in World of Warcraft and also in Diablo, you could sell your characters. Like you could build it to a certain point and sell it, and people were paying like a shit ton of money because they're like, I don't want to spend all this time actually building this character up, but I want to have like the notoriety of having this character leveled up to this certain point. So kids were just buying them like no other.
Yeah, and it kind of brings you back to that whole Amazon, the potential like Amazon or online selling, because you have all these little items that are worth something to somebody, like $5-20 a piece. And I mean, that's not a bunch of money to make, but you take that and you 10 times it, or you do it on a 30 times scale, and you're selling to all these people. You have this open market to sell to. Now those little transactions all add up to something big. But he had guys, like individual guys, spending like $5,000 a month on them.
Jeez.
Crazy.
Say, I had seen that.
Back to your story.
Him and I were good friends, and I had seen this, and he was pretty open with me about it, and he encouraged me to try it out, but it was kind of on the end of its lifespan, because I think over in China they were doing a lot of they were able to do it a lot cheaper or something. He was saying, so they kind of ran him out of it. So him and I just we went to the oil field, worked in the oil field for a bit, tried that out, and then
how old were you at this point?
Oh, I'd have to say I was probably, I want to say 18. Yeah, when I met him I was probably about 17, 16 in there.
Shit.
And how old are you now?
29.
20. Oh, you're still young. You're not even past your 30s yet.
Still a young guy.
Just so people understand,
So he basically just we kind of lost ways for a bit. We didn't talk much, hang out, because we just kind of got lost in life. I don't know why.
Yeah.
We're always been good friends, though. And one day I came out to Calgary because he moved back out this way, so I came out to visit him. And we're going to Banff for the day, so I go to put my blankets and my stuff into his trunk of his car, and he's got 30 Furbys in his trunk. That's right, Furbys. Furbies, like, you know. He had 30 Furbies in his trunk. I'm like, dude, what's going on? Like, what's this all about now? What are you on to now? I said, what? We're a weird fetish. I don't know what the hell this is, but you have to explain this to me. And he says, oh, I'm flipping them. I'm like, you're flipping Furbys? He's like, yeah. I'm like, are you actually physically flipping them over? Or you making money on them? He's like, I'm making money on them. I'm like, okay. And then he kind of started telling me some of his profit margins and stuff and how he was doing it. And I just thought it was so nuts, because we're standing down at Marlborough on the C train station, and we're just talking. We're just hopping on the C train to go downtown to party or something. He's just telling me all these things, and we're kind of exchanging ideas. And he was just working a job at the time, but doing this as a side hustle. And he was kind of flipping some books and stuff. That's usually where people start on Amazon.
Books.
Flipping books, which is a really good. Don't you flip books?
Yeah. Well, I not no more, but yeah, I used to.
Why don't you flip books anymore?
No time, man.
That's
no time
commitment.
And then I was buying so many from the supplier that they stopped it, because you were actually not allowed to sell it on Amazon.
Blackballed him.
Yeah. So they actually were like, no, you signed an agreement that you wouldn't sell it on Amazon. I was like, oh, whatever.
Oh, the person, your supplier?
Yeah.
Oh,
you're not alled to sell it online.
Yeah, because if you don't have their authority, then or their consent, you can't.
Exactly.
I know. I've ran into a lot of that. I ran into a lot of that stuff.
But like, I don't read what they sent me. I just like, yeah, whatever. You know, it wasn't like a main thing, but like, yeah, it was like when they stopped, I was like, I'm not gonna push for this, right? So
You know, there's a lot of times where there's this thing. It's like this. I can't remember what the law is called, but it's when you buy something retail from a retailer and you go to sell it. I can't remember the specific name for it, but basically you have every right to sell it online. So I've had manufacturers reach out to me and email me and say, hey, this is for sale on your storefront. This isn't acceptable. And I'm like, well, no, this is within this guideline, and technically it is, so they leave me alone.
Yeah, because you own it.
Yeah, but they've threatened me. Like, they've actually sent me emails like, we'll shut your whole operation down, sue you. You got to remove all these SKUs. And me and Kyle, one time when we used to be business partners, I was like, what do we do? And we just kind of both agreed, well, let's just see what happens. And it worked out. So it's like they're just talking tough, right? There's not much I can do. But when you actually have
It's like a cease
your
and
supplier
desist.
tell you no,
yeah,
then yeah, that's where things get hairy.
yeah.
They call it a cease and desist, I think.
For the when they get a hold of you and tell you don't do this.
Yeah, they
it was
don't want
something
you
like
to
that.
stop.
Oh, dude, they cut me out. Like, boom, accounts blocked, no login, nothing. Just don't
your
talk to
Amazon
me.
account?
No,
Or
no,
like
no.
your wholesale
the,
account?
the wholesaler account.
Yeah.
Just start a new email.
Yeah.
Books are good if you have the time for them.
And
They're
that's where
heavy
it
as
is
hell.
right now. It's like I don't have the time right now, right? That's why it's so hard to be like, okay, do I go this way or do I go this way to grow this business? Right?
Yeah, exactly. You got to pick sometimes.
Exactly. Right. So,
But books, they also like if you can figure out a way to ship them for cheap, it opens up so much.
books.
Your books are heavy.
They're heavy as hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
You start putting them in a box. I think
Yeah.
Amazon's at like a 40-pound limit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you ship them anything over 40 pounds and they bitch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They get upset.
I've been seeing Amazon printing their own books, but they make them like really skinny. Like they make the book bigger, and then it's like it's less paper.
Oh really?
Yeah, like I got a couple books from Amazon that I was like thinking, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a huge book. I got it. It's like only a 200 pager, but it's like flat and big now.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're like, Whitney had something. This is my wife I'm talking about, Whitney. She has a book, and it's like a book you would usually see like the big old hog, freaking heavy bad boy, but this one's like, yay big, eh?
Yeah,
It's like,
they
whoa.
made them bigger.
Kind of looks like an agenda or something, eh?
Yeah. But yeah.
Back to the story.
Back to where.
Branching off. I like how this branches off.
Yeah.
Back to the story.
Yeah.
Okay, so
How you got started into
yeah, so
Furbys.
Kyle's-
I think we were at Furbys or
yeah, so my business partner at the time, before we were business partners, he just had this idea with the Furby thing, and he said I could try it on my own. He said, go ahead, try it out and see what you think.
So the Furby thing, I'm assuming he went to all the stores and bought them. And
Yeah,
then
so
just-
he was doing
okay.
like when we had Target, I think at the time.
Yeah.
We had Targets or something. He was buying from Targets, Walmarts,
Yeah.
and maybe Toys. I think Toys R Us. Actually, Superstore, which is weird. Superstore has a toy department.
Yeah.
So they were actually Superstore is independently owned. Their operations kind of like Canadian Tires are. So I used to go around to Superstores and Canadian Tires and make deals with managers. I'm like, hey, I see you got all these Furbies. Hey, get them up for $27 a piece. How about I buy the whole lot for $17 a piece? And then you sit there and barter with them, eh? It was weird.
Really?
Yeah, it was a really weird system.
I heard about that too.
But you'd walk out with like a truckload of Furbies,
Yeah.
and you'd be flipping these bastards for like $17 into $100 American. And at the time when the exchange rate was
because you ship it to
$1.40,
America.
Yeah, 'cause
yeah, it shipped to America.
Oh.
The exchange rate was $1.40.
Yeah.
So you, man, you'd be
It's a 40%.
Well, there was a shortage of Furbies in the United States. and
yeah,
then-
weird. This is so funny.
And then and
Why?
and the-
Why is short of Furbies?
Because
though?
Furbies was a huge fad, right? And they came back. And
Pink
then-
ones. Pink ones were big,
Yeah.
blue with white spots.
And then what happened was like, no one was buying them in Canada because it's not as big as the U.S.
Weird.
So that they
Everything
essentially
in the U.S. is bigger. Everything's
Yeah.
bigger in Texas.
Yeah.
yeah.
Think like that. They got the big belt buckles down there, eh?
Yeah.
My son wants 10 Furbies, boy.
So you were flipping them. How much were you making a pop of a?
Depends on like the thing is with Amazon, like there's like say you go to the Furby listing
Yeah.
for whatever Furby, and there's God, this is ridiculous. There's there's a selection where you can be like, well, there's like 16 different colors, right?
Yeah.
So some of them you'd make $10-$20 on a piece.
Yeah.
There was ones where I'd make $100 to $200 a piece
Because of how rare it was.
because how rare. Like there's like a blue one with white spots or something. Weird. Cool though. We had like 2 left from this whole ordeal. And we sold them on Kijiji, and one person came and the kid was so happy. My wife's selling it at the door. I'm like, why are you selling that Furby? She's like, well, we got to get rid of all the stuff, this excess inventory we have in the basement. I'm like, yeah, but come on, like we got to keep one for like memory's sake, right? But I couldn't turn the kid down. The kid was so happy. I just wanted to keep one, put it on the mantle, like one of the first products I flipped. Bloody pink Furby.
How much are they going for now?
I haven't checked, but I'm sure that like it's like anything at Amazon.
Yeah,
you go back and if it's gone and it's been deleted, they don't make them anymore. They're not. They stop the press. I mean, a lot of these products are just ridiculous.
They keep going up.
That's why I know guys who specifically their business model like. 20% of their year is just flipping continuous products, sending them down, selling them right away. But they have 80% of their product is actually just holds. They'll have a warehouse, they'll hold products, like specifically Lego stuff, things like that. They'll hold this stuff for like a year or two because they can afford to, because they got like working like, say they work with a $10 million capital base or something. So they can afford to hold X Star Wars Lego for, 3 years. And then all of a sudden now they paid $70 a piece for it at Toys R Us. This year, and then 3 years down the road, they're selling it for $400 American a piece.
Because it's like limited now.
Yeah.
It's limited, and you can find them. Like, say for example, Lego made these Volkswagen Legos or these camper vans and stuff. Those are starting. You can see like I think it was a Volkswagen Beetle or something. Those are starting to go for way more. So anyone who bought those a year ago and held on to them, they watched the end of the life. Like on Lego.com, you can kind of see how rare a set's getting and if they're going to retire it soon. And usually they do within 2-3 years. So you can kind of like if you got experience with it and you're kind of watching Lego, you start paying attention to it, you can hold some of these Legos for like even a year and make double your money on them. So you got $5,000 sitting around, you want to put it down on Lego. Might not be a bad investment. Everyone's doing Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, Bitcoin.
Yeah, you could be doing Legos.
You could be doing Pokemon cards.
Pokemon cards are huge right now.
Cards are crazy right now.
Yeah. Well, we were
guy in a cowboy hat talking about Pokemon cards. What do you know? What a weird guy.
No, because you got into it because you're also a collector, right? So there's a lot of items that you collect and different like products as well too that they all generate income based on its limitation, like limits. And collectability of it as well too.
Exactly, yeah.
It's huge.
And this is why recently, because I collect a lot of Star Wars memorabilia, and there's these series that I collect, and I've been collecting. I've been hunting them down myself, and I put them in my collection. And my old business partner, he says to me, if you are so knowledgeable on Star Wars, and why are you not flipping more of those? He says, what do you think of this one? And he reaches out to me, he's like, why don't you flip Star Wars stuff? I'm like, I don't know, I never really thought of it. And then I started flipping Star Wars stuff because he brought it up. Now I'm giving him all these SKUs. I'm like, man, this one, there's going to be limited production. They're going to, they're going to print off X amount, and they're going to be hard to find in Canada, so you can flip them on .ca. And now he's like, we're just going ham on these Star Wars figures now. Like I bought, for example, this Mandalorian credit collection guy. I bought like 40 of these things. It was like a $1,500 investment, and everyone on the Star Wars Black Series collectors page was making fun of me. They're like, "Oh no, man, you this and that." Those things, literally, right when I bought them, a week later they sold out. They're $30 a piece. They sold out. Now they're going for $79 a piece. Well, when I checked last week, they could be more now because I knew they were a limited run and they're not going to make these again. Same with this Cara Dune character that just got fired.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Yeah, Gina Carano or something.
Yeah.
She got fired, and right away I'm like, her merch is going to go through the roof. So I went out and dropped like $2,000 on her figure from all the Toys R Us.
Yeah, you drove around the whole city.
The whole city, picking them up store by store, and trying to pre-order them and trying to find the last bits because I knew they were going to blow up in the next couple of days. And actually, Kyle had brought this to my attention. He says, "What do you think of this?" I'm like, "There you go. There's another one." Like I didn't even think of that. I'm so obsessed with Star Wars that I'm just thinking about myself. I'm not thinking about my profits. so like when I collect these all, and as a joke, I posted in this Facebook group because everyone they were lipping her off. Well, she's not a good character. She was one of my favorite characters. So I knew the potential with this chick, with her figure.
Why did they? Wasn't she like on a protesting?
She said some stuff on Twitter.
Yeah, she went all controversial and she went with the votes were not counted right. I stay out of it all. Yeah. But yeah, she definitely went with the whole right-wing stuff and triggered a lot of left-wing people who got her canceled, which is how it goes every time. Yeah. Right? So
she got kicked off the show, The Mandalorian.
Which is mind-blowing. Yeah. Like they plan on bringing her character back with another actor.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. But she was a fan favorite. I thought she was awesome. Loved her role in the series. So when I seen her get canceled and they were saying they're halting all her merch, I'm like, I'm going out and I'm hunting this shit down. So I hunt this shit down at $30 a piece, and there's these people I posted in this collector's page, like just like a whole table of them, like about the table this size, just loaded with this figure, eh? And this is a goof. I'm like, hey, look at this. I got all these Cara Dunes, and I kind of like joking around. These guys are all making fun of me, eh? Yeah. There's like the odd guy that would be like, he'd be like, man, that's a good move. But most of them are like, you're a fool. You're a bloody fool. She's going to be worth nothing. I'm like, that's not how this works. Supply and demand, baby. This figure's going to be worth huge. Yeah. A week later, that $30 per figure investment was $200 a figure.
U.S.?
Yeah, U.S. But they fluctuate. They still fluctuate because like there's surges of them.
Yeah.
People still finding them, and
Yeah.
so they're like it ranges from 150 American minimum to about 200. I'm still holding. I'm holding for a year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait till I can sell them for like 200 consistently or more. Who knows?
All day.
Yeah, because they when they cut off the supply, but there's a huge demand, it's so obvious to see it.
Yeah.
But people who hated the character, they're like, maybe a lot of these guys are middle-aged guys, right? Bunch of sexist guys, and women kind of. so you see this woman character, it's like Carrie Fisher getting canceled.
Yeah.
You know, it's people just love the character, and it's so obvious. So it's like making calls like that sometimes, which is a lot of fun. It's actually a lot of fun. Like you just see these things, and you're into collecting them. So you can just kind of see the potential in them. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to get with Pokemon right now. Because I was into Pokemon, but like the Pokemon stuff kind of blows my mind.
Is there like a, because you've been doing this for like what, 7?
I want to say 6 or 7 years now. Yeah.
Like, other than Star Wars, like how did you find other things to flip and make money on? Like, are you just are like in the trends with everything looking?
You're supposed to be. I'm not.
Yeah.
But like, it's really going out and scanning. Like, I know a lot of these courses, they try to say, go out and scan. Like, people are like, it's part of the pyramid scheme. It's like, you actually go out and scan.
What
Like,
do you
go
mean
to
Scan
go
the products?
Yeah, like, so you have the Amazon seller app.
Yeah.
and
The
you
same
go-
that you were doing the books.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
scan, but you have to know your numbers. So first you have to have a shipping structure. You have to know, like, you have to be able to look at a product and be able to break it down to know exactly a rough ballpark, and then give yourself some space to have the price crash a bit and move around. Same thing you do if you want to invest in a real estate property. You want to cash flow, right?
Just different product, yeah.
Yeah, it's all kind of the same theory, but you before you go into it and you commit to dropping $2,000 on an action figure, you want to make sure the numbers are there and they make sense. So your shipping structure, like I know I have X rate with UPS. I got a special corporate discount with them my second year in. So I got one of the best rates I can have with them without starting my own type of deal. And so I know exactly what it costs me per unit to ship per type of box. That's another reason why I don't switch my boxes. I use Home Depot smalls, mediums, larges. Usually so I know exactly what the dimensions are. I know how much the average weight is, which is about 30 to 38 pounds. And then I can figure out what each box is to ship, and then I can put that into my equation on whether or not this product's going to work or not.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's
It's a science.
Yeah.
it's a science, but it's easy once you do it. It's like anything. At first, you're just like scatterbrained. You're like, you're scared, right? You're going out there and scanning things like, this is never going to work. You're like, it can work, but like and going back to my story, the actual linear part we were on earlier.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's so many tangents you can go off on, eh?
How you got started, right?
Yeah.
I think we were at Furbys.
We were at Furbys, and me and my ex-business partner, who was my business partner at the time.
Yeah.
Before, actually, he wasn't at this time, but he became my business partner. He had these Furbys. I asked him. He told me about this system, and anyone else would have told me he was a nutcase. But I'd seen what he had done in the past, so I believed him. I'm like, this guy's the kind of guy that will sit down and read a book, and he'll educate himself on something, and he'll go and do it. Kind of like what you do with real estate.
Yeah.
You can only educate yourself so far until you have to take action,
Yeah.
and that's what he did. So he was making, I would say he's making about $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month. But him and I started to realize the potential of scaling that with more money you had, right? So basically, I went back home. I was living in Manitoba at the time. I went back and I told my parents about it, and they're like, they've always been very supportive of everything I've ever done. So they were like, cool, try it out. And my girlfriend was like, yeah, whatever. She didn't think much of her. Dad thought I was kind of psychotic. But basically, I had nothing left. I had rent bills. I had a car payment. I had things coming out. But I had, for my previous job, I just quit. I had, I think, $2,000 saved up. So I dropped $2,000. I went to Staples, the Staples Business Depot or whatever, and I started scanning. I found computer mouse. I found like, oh God, there's little...
Scanning everything, hey?
I scanned everything.
Yeah.
But back then, like now, scanning can be really disencouraging when you go out because you scan, there's like nothing. So you got to scan like 100 things to find one thing. Back then, before everyone and their mom was doing it, you could go scan like 10 things, and probably 8 of the 10 things are profitable in the U.S.
So when you're scanning it, you're seeing what it's selling at. And so, like, let's say something you scan, like you said, a mouse is selling for $5, and then you're like, oh, on Amazon it's
Sell for 30 or 20.
Oh,
or
okay.
10.
And then you just buy it all out.
Yeah,
ship
you
it
just
out,
find
yeah.
it, but you also want to check your rank. You want to make sure like it's got a good sales rank. Back
Yeah.
then, there wasn't really a way to calculate rank like there is now.
Yeah.
And now you have apps like I can't remember. I don't know if it's Jungle Scout or it's,
Yeah, I remember.
That's what my
Jungle
cousin
Scout.
uses. Yeah.
Yeah, and they can tell you the ranks and your sell through, what you're estimated to sell per month, like Tactical Edge or Tactical Arbitrage, things like that. They'll tell you how many you're going to sell a month or whatever. But yeah, like back then it was just kind of like you knew if it was a popular product and it had 200 reviews and there was a shortage for it in the States, you were like, okay, well, it's
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, there's millions of people in front of this listing. It's gonna, or billions, whatever. It's gonna sell, right? So yeah, when I first had the only $2,000 I had left, I put it into that, and I was like, this, you know, I mean, the $2,000 is a lot of money. Like that's all I had to get by, and there wasn't any work available. I couldn't really find anything that I wanted to do, but so I took that last $2,000, I put it in, and I seen it come back within a couple weeks.
Wow.
And
What would you buy? Do you remember what you bought?
Computer mouse, some like weird like Logitech stuff, like adapt like charging pads or like hard drives or whatever, like weird things, random things.
Yeah.
Some of them were little Bluetooth speakers, and and basically I had not doubled my money, but I got like a 70 or an 80% return on that. I think it was $1,500 I put in. And I got it back most of it within 2 weeks. I was like, "Oh, this is how this works." And I'm like, "Oh man!"
Yeah.
So me and this guy were like, "Okay, like we should figure out a way to make this work together, and we should find a way because the only difference between making $1,500 a month on this and making $100,000 a month is how much capital we have, which we don't have anything right now.
Your investment.
We had nothing to our names. Like I'm like, I got a car, but it's not worth anything. It's got payments on it. It was that Trans Am.
Oh.
That's the only car I had at the time. I had a Trans Am Collector's Edition, but I still owed the bank a bunch of money for it. So. Yeah, so basically, we made a deal. He says, "You own a house, don't you?" And I own this house outright. This little Killarney house down in Manitoba. And he's like, "You can get a loan on that." And I'm like, "I know." I said, maybe do a loan. So I called someone, like, no idea what I'm doing, eh? Yeah. Like, now I realize you can go to any bank you want. You got a house
you could
paid off.
refinance.
Oh, they can give you the best rate. You can get
Home equity, line of credit, probably.
Yeah, like a line of, exactly, a line of credit. I could have had like an awesome, like quick 20, 30 grand to start my business. Yeah. But instead I call this one shady outfit and they're like, "No, I don't think we can do anything for you." But they had a sister company who reached out to me. I'm like, and they're like, "Hey man, we can hook you up with all this money and blah, blah." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Interesting." So I called my buddy who were at the time we're talking about being business partners. I'm like, "This guy offered me this." He's like, "Wow, someone reached out to you?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's like they know we want to do this." So we just thought we were being so slick, eh? Like, yeah, let's go through these guys. It's total loan shark company. Yeah. And when I'm sitting down, they'd gone over the paperwork with us and told us what we need to do. Go to the lawyer in your local town, sign everything. So I go to my lawyer, and the lawyer is sitting there, and he says, "This is ridiculous." He says, "This is like," he's like, "This is like 20% interest."
20%?
A 1 year deal.
Oh, God.
And if you don't pay it back within a year, you lose your house. Yeah. And I'm like, I know it sounds fuck me, but you don't understand. It's Amazon, man. There's huge potential here. I'm like, I try to tell the lawyer, I'm like, I took $1,500 and turned it into $3,000 in 2 weeks. Imagine if I had $30,000. He's like, and he's an older guy. He's like, "No, this is nuts. I highly recommend you don't do this." And when a lawyer is highly recommending you don't do something, chances are he's probably not too far off from the truth. So I called Kyle up and I said, "This is the guy who's become my business partner at this moment." And I say, "Okay, this is the deal. There's this interest. It's a year. I'm gonna lose my house. We fuck this up." He's like, "Just do it, man. We need money." And you got like the reason we were so intrigued to do this was not only the returns we were seeing, but the fact that Target was going out at this time. Oh yeah. Target was getting closed down, and it was Q4. Oh. So we were seeing shit like you would send something to Amazon, it would be gone that day, and you'd have like a 80% ROI on it. Oh. So we were like, "Oh my god, we got to do this." I'm just like, I couldn't have accepted that loan fast enough. Yeah. So we got the loan, and that's how we started our business, and we worked our asses off. We lived in shitty situations.
Just let me interject there. I think that's a huge risk and
massive.
It was like an all-in point.
It's all I had in my life that like, it was my first start in real estate, and I was very proud of that. Mm-hmm. And I knew that was what was going to set me up in life as far as being self-employed. Mm-hmm. But this other one was like, this is something that's very lucrative.
No, but what I was trying to say is like I feel like a lot of people aren't willing to take that risk, even though the lawyers, and I'm just talking with the entrepreneurs right now, and like people that are,
I agree,
hesitant to do or make a move. Like what you did was risky. I don't know if it was 20% interest.
It ended up being 30%.
30% interest
on a $25,000 loan. I had to pay back like $50,000 or something.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah,
but that's what
that's what it took.
That's what it took, right?
Yeah,
and you learned a lot.
I could have been smarter. Obviously, I could have got an actual home line of credit. Yeah. Which now I'm way. If I could put myself in my shoes back then, different ballgame.
Of course, right.
But I feel like a lot of things happen. Like people think it's luck, and I think it is a lot of luck. There's a lot of luck there, but it's also that willingness to put yourself in that position and work for it. Like no one's just getting something handed to them. That doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
Like, there's luck, and it's luck and commitment and taking that risk, right?
I think just like no risk, no reward, right? And the other thing that you were saying before, it's like knowledge, like you know the business, right? And it's just about application. So you had the knowledge about it, and you knew the numbers of it so well enough that you were willing to mitigate the risk of that interest rate because you knew the benefit of it, right? So I think that's like, once you have like good knowledge about something, it actually minimizes the risk.
Sums up commercial lending, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to minimize your risk.
Well, you're thinking like, okay, let's say 30% interest rate, and I can make 200.
That's huge.
It's worth it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, as I was saying, I think that's what a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with, right? Like, do I take that risk?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't, because they're not willing to like basically throw that hat over.
Yeah.
Because
That's the
man,
difference.
like I don't know how much you borrowed, but you're willing to lose your house over that, right? And
I only borrowed I
yeah.
think it was 25. The greasiest part was, oh man, they were like, here's this hold, okay? And because they had to set it up where they could screw me in the worst way possible. I think they just wanted to make sure they were. So they made it so it was like a almost like a builder's mortgage or something.
Yeah.
Hey, you get the house done, because I had to say on paper it was for home renovations. So they had released me 15, and then you get the cabinets done. So I had to have a contractor make up this cabinet job for me. So they released the rest of the funds. They were and they basically screwed us. So that Q4 was kind of a mess. We didn't have the money until like early December, and by the time the film centers get so crowded with shipping, that you can't get your products in there fast enough to sell. So it kind of screwed us in a lot of ways having that. But at the same time, I mean, it's what founded our business, having that access to that capital.
I feel like it's just like a big leap of faith.
Huge leap of faith.
And a lot of people aren't willing to even do that because either the fear of failure or just like the fear of monetary loss, all those things, right? Like a lot of times people aren't willing to take those risks because that's just what we're not used to, right? So like you going to go and do that, I feel like you created all this because of that leap of faith.
Yeah,
and I think that's what people don't see, right?
They don't see that.
Yeah.
They don't. It's and that's why it's kind of a weird thing leaving a small town, coming from a small town, is that a lot of your friends don't understand that.
Yeah.
So over the years, I mean, you kind of grow and you find different ways, but yeah, they don't. They just think that a lot of people. I remember when I first started this, they're like, "Oh, you lucked out," and you'd hear the echoes. You'd hear them, small town rumors, and he lucked out, and there was this rumor going on about inheritance I had and all this. I'm like.
You're like, you don't understand.
You sons of bitches have no idea.
I was sitting across the lawyer, and they said not to.
Oh, it's like a scene out of a movie, man.
Yeah.
I highly recommend against this. I'm like, well, you see, it's Amazon.
You're like, yeah, because you believed in it so much.
Yeah, I believed in it. Well, because I was fortunate enough to be able to try it first, and even that was a huge risk because I had a car payment coming out and rent and all this, and it was still a risk because I had to make sure this money came back to me, and it did within 2 weeks. So that was my first risk, but I was lucky and fortunate enough to be able to try it first and then see that huge return.
On a smaller scale,
On a small scale, and I'm like, hey, there's no way this can't work, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, then we had to buckle down to make sure that thing got where it needed to be. We eventually had to do, we wanted to keep the capital flowing. So, I mean, at this point, it was a year later, I think we had generated probably $100,000 to $200,000 capital base off within our first year.
Oh shit!
So
you almost like 5x your money.
Yeah. So we basically, and we had a lot of operating expense too, a lot of overhead.
How was that? How much work was that the first year then?
First year, we lived in a really greasy situation. We lived in
Where were you? Still in Killarney at that time?
No, I moved to Calgary. I made the
Okay.
commitment.
Yeah.
My girlfriend stayed in Brandon while I left, and I came out here. And I was living me and Kyle had rented this basement when we became business partners, a little basement suite, which was kind of an off deal. The guy he was renting the house, and this basement was not meant for anyone to live in, but it was cheap. It was like $700 a month, and it had carpet on the floor. His room, of course, Kyle, he got the place before I moved out, so he picked the big room with the heater blowing out of the ceiling. I had the utility closet.
Yeah.
So
Really?
It was basically a fucking utility closet with carpet and some paint on the walls. No heater in there though, right?
Yeah.
So it was cold winters. There was nights. I don't know if I should talk about this, but there was nights where we had an air mattress.
we want to hear this.
Okay, we had an air mattress. We'd sleep together on an air mattress. I'm not fucking kidding. We would sleep together on an air mattress, and he'd be like, don't do me that gay shit tonight. I'm like, what gay shit? He's like, you get all drunk, and he says, you just do that thing. I'm like, I'm not trying to cuddle with you, man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to stay warm.
Stay warm, dude. Oh God, Brokeback Mountain. Anyways, but yeah, so we would live like this. because what would happen is we would get a payout from Amazon, because Amazon used to do this thing where they pay you daily.
Yeah.
When we got on, it was every bi-weekly, 2 weeks. So we would flip 10 grand worth of capital and send it down in product, and then pay our shipping bill, and we'd have nothing. We do this all in one. This is how we knew we needed a bigger capital base, because we would work for 2 days and be stagnant for almost 2 weeks, like 13 days till we got a payout to go hit stores again. So we would sit down there and we would be like, what are we going to do today? We were so, that's why we worked so well together, because we were so cheap. We wouldn't go out and, like, most guys who have 100 grand in their bank account, when they have 100 grand come in, they're going to buy a new truck or they're going to go out and party. We wouldn't. We go buy Sawmill Creek. I'll never forget the name. Sawmill Creek Chardonnay wine. It says like a $6 bottle of wine, and we'd split that. We'd sit down there and watch Trailer Park Boys and just bang back these little bottles of wine. Yeah, we'd get shit faced, and it was really funny. But so we lived like vagrants for probably, God, I want to say the first 6 months, 4 months until we got a townhouse. Yeah. And even that was kind of a shitty living situation, because the neighbor next door was a hooker, eh? I don't know if she was a hooker, but she had a lot of she had a lot of different guys over, eh? And this was in the spring when your windows open at night and you hear the crickets, but no, you just heard her getting her game on, eh?
You're like, is that Kyle over there?
Oh, we'd sit there at the video, and then I would moan back out the window, you know, and then she'd get turned on by it, I guess, keep moaning louder. So I'm like, we got to get the hell out of here. Like, we're businessmen now. We need to get to so we rented a house in North Calgary, Sherwood Mount. Up there, so we're renting a really nice luxury home. We started running the business out of there.
That's sweet.
Yeah, but like at first when we were living in this guy's basement, like this guy, you don't understand.
No.
This guy was like, he was an old pervert or something.
Did he come sleep with you guys?
It's like a guy from Family Guy.
He was like the Herman guy, the pedophile from
Family Guy.
He was like that guy. He was like a big, like overweight version of him, eh? And we'd come in the house at night after doing a retail run. We'd have like bags of Toys R Us shit and Walmart, and we'd come in, and he had his computer facing. So when you come in the front door, his computer was facing you, and every time you walk in, he'd have porn on it, just conveniently, and he'd turn around and he'd be like, "Hi, boys." We'd be like, "Whoa, man, is this really happening?" Like he was totally into Kyle for sure. Yeah. I don't know his game, but anyways, the grossest thing is that he would urinate on the floor up by the toilet. We had to share a bathroom with him. What? Oh. There'd be poop on the light switches. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, there's like poop on the toilet paper roll.
Where was this?
This was Southland Drive, down the dirty south there.
Damn.
Yeah, down just by the Walmart down there.
Yeah.
God damn, I'll never forget that. That's how I know. That's how I knew we were gonna make it. I'm like, we're putting up with this shit, and we're both okay with this for now. Yeah. Like we're gonna do something. We're gonna survive, and life would get better and better and better. Yeah. Because we keep moving on and trying to upgrade. But we were very modest and humble. Like no one would ever know that we were doing this thing because we were super lucrative about it. Mm-hmm. We wouldn't even tell people. We didn't want to share it with anybody. Yeah. But now everyone's a guru on it, and they're sharing it with everybody. But which is what I think the route we should have went was.
Yeah. Sold your secrets.
Should have sold their secrets. Yeah, because back then they were gold. Yeah. Like if we would have started a course back then, I just couldn't do the cringy stuff, eh?
You could be charging $5,000 a pop.
Yeah, well back then it was like, hey, you know, if you started like an ad that was like, hey, I was fucking in this CRV last week and now I'm in a Ferrari. You wanna know how to be sick like me? Fucking Amazon, bro. Like I wasn't about that. And I should have been.
You should have.
Ty Lopez, yeah. Now I'm not gonna tell you about my truck outside, but I am going to tell you about my knowledge.
My books.
my books I flip on Amazon. $5 into 30. Nothing but tendies, baby. Look, different ball game, weird place.
That's an awesome story, man. I love to hear stories that like you're grinding, starting it up, and you know.
That actually got me into hearing other people's stories. Is once I seen that, I started to kind of network and meet other people. I was like, holy shit! I used to hate people. I got picked on in school, so I hated people. I liked people. I was always a social guy, going to parties, having a good time. But like being in the city amongst people, I just hated them. I hated the way they drove, moving here. Like I'm from a small town, so when guys flipping you off beside you in traffic, I hated people. But now I'm at the point where I just love people. I just okay, everyone's got a unique story. What they are in traffic isn't what they are in real life. They're just broken.
It's just a bad day.
They're just a bad day. I don't take it home with you. It's a big learning curve from the city for sure. Come from a town of 2,000 people, coming to this place was 1.2 million.
We're almost at 1.5 now, man.
Whoa. Yeah. See, last time I checked it was like 6
It's like 1.4 or something. I just Googled it, actually.
Clearly growing.
Yeah. It's growing actually a lot this year. So
They wouldn't be building all these, this new infrastructure and things like that if it wasn't.
Yeah.
well, half of them are empty right now downtown. But,
Yeah, that's true, eh?
But,
a lot of the condo stuff's pretty
I think it's
bad.
gonna get filled up. I think it's gonna get filled up.
But just the highways, like even Stony Trail, connecting all that stuff, like that's
Like for we are in Black Diamond,
Yeah.
connecting that down there. Like for me to come to the city now, different ball game when that ring road's done.
Yeah.
Because I access the south part of it. I was still here in 53 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But once that ring road's done and I can actually get onto it, oh man, I'd be here in probably 40 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that back road stuff in 20 different turns.
Yeah, because you're about an hour away just going down McLeod.
Yeah, say if I want, like last week I came in to go to somewhere's right downtown Calgary. And it took me exactly 1 hour.
Yeah.
Which is good. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. It gets me away from the city and disconnects a bit.
Close enough.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever lived in the city again. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah.
My neighbors didn't like the loud cars.
Well, all the cars sitting outside.
Yeah, it looked like I had people coming by,
Yeah.
by law coming by, like, you got a permit to run this business? I'm like, what business? They're like, all these hot rods out here and stuff. I'm like, no, these are mine. They're like, no, you're not running an auto body shop? You're always fixing them and changing the engines. I'm like, no, like these are mine. Like, the one guy actually, you got a fucking problem. I'm like, I do. It's pretty unhealthy. It's better than a drug addiction, right? But
Yeah, that's the part of the collection, the cars too. Yeah.
I like collecting cars. I don't.
Tanner, you built a good business, e-commerce. What would you say the biggest lessons you've learned in the last, 3-4 years building the business and growing it to where it's at right now?
Through business?
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned so much, and just how everything from how to streamline things and make them, a lot reduce your overhead and things like that, and all these little mistakes you make. There's so many things. I couldn't begin to even really nail one out. I mean, a lot of life lessons. A lot of life lessons.
Like
Friends.
Oh,
I think
people you keep around.
People you keep around, yeah. Some of the 3 people or 5 people or whatever.
Yeah, the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
That's a huge one in the last 5 years of my life. That's a massive one. That's a game. Once you realize that and you let go of people who don't serve you anymore, and you start bringing in people to your life who share the same ideals with you and they want to grow, and you can talk, that's a huge one that I've learned. And the funny thing is that I learned that through this business. Because this business actually, I always thought, oh man, these guys start their businesses, what a bunch of assholes. They don't talk to regular folk. There's always this divide. I'm self-employed, man. I work for the man. It's like, who cares?
Yeah.
But that comes up when you become self-employed and you're from a small town. A lot of people give you the cold shoulder. They just, man, fuck this guy. He thinks he's sweet. It's like, no, I just...
you're just out here grinding, trying to make a living, right?
Yeah, I want to say I was when I started, I was probably compared to anyone I know, I was super humble. I never talked about money, and I always asked people about them. I never talked about myself. So that's how I knew, because I had myself in check. So that's how I knew that a lot of people just turned off me, whether it be envy or just simply not understanding. I don't know, but that's the main game changer from the start of this business about 6-7 years ago to date. And more specifically in the last 2-3 years that I've actually realized it, is that the people around you, they change, things change, and who's there and they were there before. But there's a lot of them that just don't fit the picture anymore. And sometimes they think it's because you think you're some special person now because you're self-employed, and they try to say that.
Yeah.
I've had that. Oh, you think you're better now? It's like, no, I just don't. I don't know. I just don't.
You don't have time for shit.
You don't have time for shit.
Yeah.
You don't have time for shit. No.
Yeah.
There's no time for that. There's no time for this. I want to see my friends succeed, and I've tried to work on people. I've tried to work on people who I see huge potential in everybody. I think that's my gift. If I meet someone who's in a rough place, I instantly see huge potential in them. I see what they're capable of. But I used to hang on to that so much. I used to hang on to it, and I used to think, well, this person's going this place. I can't wait till they finally realize. But a lot of times they wouldn't, and I'd have to learn when to let go.
Yeah.
And to move on to new friendships and, find that sum of 5.
It's like the quote they say, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's bang on.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I think especially the older you get to, you're starting to realize that too, right? Because
That's an age thing for sure.
Yeah.
Wisdom.
yeah.
Mhm.
And it's like you don't have time for bullshit, and it is harder. But I realized too, this is one of my favorite quotes. They're gonna judge you regardless, whether you're at the bottom. If you're failing, they're gonna judge you, right? And if you're at the top, they're going to judge you. So you just got to keep doing what you're doing, because regardless, people just judge, man. It's just, you can't stop that, right?
Yeah.
So,
I feel like judgment does not affect me as long as I keep myself in check.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing. Yeah.
I heard, and I've been doing this for years, but for so many years, I didn't listen to podcasts. I didn't surround myself with people who have a similar outlook on life as me. So for me, it was just me always trying to analyze myself. Like, okay, I'm being an asshole here. Or I'm being this here. I need to straighten up here. And always constantly being able to get comfortable with calling myself out. And because I know that's what it takes to get to the next level.
Yeah.
So one day I was listening to like Joe Rogan's podcast. He had Mike Tyson on there. And they had brought up that, like the greatest people are able to look at themselves from the outside and say, hey, you're being this and you need to be this. You need to be able to call yourself out, and because you can't get that next level if you're just this one thing's holding you back.
Yeah.
So that's been a huge thing for me in the past.
I think self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Yeah,
Just to be able
that's
to
the
be
word.
self-aware of who you're being, and if you're not happy with who you're being able to address that without being like, oh, this is me, you know?
Yeah.
Because you could actually, like, it's very hard to change, but as long as you're aware that you aren't who you are or not who you want to be,
You can change that.
you can change, right?
Yeah. It comes down to like mindset.
Yeah.
Because like you are only, like your capability is only within the box of your mindset. But if you are able to be self-aware and understand yourself and where your limitations are, and instead of like just pushing that aside, actually working on it, you can increase your box. And then your mindset is greater. And then you're coming in with different things and different problems with different mindsets. And that just comes with like time, experience, wisdom, all that stuff, right? And the best way to learn is actually from other people's mistakes, right? Like podcasts.
I
books,
look at people as a wealth of
mentors.
knowledge.
Yeah,
we
like-
get
I look
so
at
much from this
people-
podcast, even just talking with, you know.
I love
it's-
that. That's another thing about the last 5 years of my life is learning that. That's very important.
Yeah.
Is using, like, looking, not you, sorry, I shouldn't say I'm using people, but when you see someone that has something you want and they have the knowledge, I don't care if I look like an idiot asking a question. I couldn't give a shit less.
Yeah.
Because chances are they've been there and they're going to understand. And if they don't, well, maybe they got something to work on themselves.
Yeah.
But it's looking at someone like, that guy's like, for me trying to start my own shipping company right now, I look at people who currently cross the border every day or have started their own shipping company as literally the key to my success. If I don't look at them that way, like I have to, because then I'm calling them. I'm like, I don't care what they think. I'm gonna call them, phone them, call, text them, whatever. And then I can leverage their knowledge and apply it to what I'm doing, which is hugely important. Hugely.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of like the laws of 33?
No.
So there's this concept that it's called the laws of 33. So like they say that you should be spending 33% of your time with people that are at a position of where you want to be in life, whether it's like audiobooks, podcasts, like a mentor, like someone that is actually doing what you want to do in life, that lives the life that you want to live, because they've already done it and they're willing to share that information with you. The second 33 percentile is the people that are like you, right? So that they're people that you're around, like friends, family, similar mindset. It kind of keeps you humble and grounded that you're spending this time with these people in the 33%, because they're like you, they're similar to you, right? And then the other 33% is to spend time with people who are less fortunate with you. So this comes in with like volunteering,
mentoring,
like philanthropy, mentoring people that want to be where you're at, because it gives you gratitude of where these people are, and then the humbleness, and then also direction in the future where you want to be in 33% of your life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's something, if I were to actually implement that into my life, anybody were, that would be such a huge help.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just things you're not aware of. That's in your life.
Yeah.
You can't help but grow, right?
Yeah.
Having a structure like that.
Yeah, it gives you balance.
And that's something another thing I've learned the last 5 years is learning how to want to help other people.
Yeah.
And not just like, I don't think the purpose of life, I know the purpose of life isn't just to be all about you and, hey, I'm going to grow. But I want to help people now, and I didn't want to before. But that's another thing my girlfriend's helped me with, because she started this whole coaching thing she's been doing and helping people through breath work and things like that.
Yoga.
And yoga. And she's taught me now, well, how can I help other people? So now when I see someone, if I see they're motivated and I see that they want a change in their life, and I see that I use that potential that I see in people like gift I have to be like, now, okay, well, I want to help guide them, because there's so many things people can learn, but they're not aware of it sometimes. Like, this is all a learning game. It comes with age.
Exactly.
You know, it's just like me learning about this 33% thing. I've heard of something similar to that, like the sum of the five or whatever. But I mean, that's the next level, right?
Yeah,
that is the next level.
I actually learned that in a Ty Lopez class.
Yeah, Ty Lopez is. I mean, as much as people, that's the controversial shit like that. People are like, oh man, Ty Lopez's books, they don't cringed out by it. I think that's because of an insecurity within themselves.
Yeah.
When I seen that shit when he first came on, I'm like, oh yeah, here another pyramid scheme. And I mean, he did. I think he kind of sold himself in the beginning, but he rented a Lamborghini. I'm pretty sure.
He owns all his cars now.
But now, for sure. But I think when he started, he was like fake it till you make it type shit. No, but I don't know.
He was actually a multimillionaire before that.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know.
Selling books.
But the people, what do the haters say though?
Yeah.
Haters like, man, fuck that guy. He rented a Lamborghini. It kind of trickled down into me, right?
Yeah.
But I know that he is super successful. I've seen him on people's podcasts and talk shows. He's legit.
But yeah, well, last question for you, Tanner, before we wrap this up is, you know, what advice can you give someone that's starting to look into e-commerce? Yeah. You know, like they're like, hey, starting a business in e-commerce, and they're just like, what do I do? Where to start? Like, what advice can you give someone that is looking to start that venture right now?
I would say give your head a shake. Make sure you know what you're looking at and what you want to do. Believe in yourself, and when people tell you you're nuts, make sure you know enough about what you're doing and what you want to do to make sure that they're not right. You know, make sure you know where you're going. Right.
Got it.
Don't like follow what you want to follow. Believe in yourself. It just sounds cheesy, but I mean, it is. I mean, like I used to think it was nuts when people would say, "Believe in yourself, do this thing, you can do it." It's like, whatever, man. But it is. It's literally
true.
like
it's true.
It's literally the self-belief that you can do it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have that, and they're born in families, and they don't have the structure in their life for anyone to support them to do that.
Totally.
That's one of the biggest number one failure I've seen in a lot of my friends is that their people around them don't believe they can do it, so they tell them, "Oh, you're crazy." No, it's a dream. It's a pipe dream.
The naysayers.
And a lot of people listen to the naysayers. And for me, I was fortunate enough to have a lot of structure in my life. For my parents raised me with the belief. Like my grandpa was a huge businessman. He was one of Canada's first mobile welders. He worked at the shipyards down in Vancouver, and he was worth millions. And I always grew up knowing that, so I always knew it was possible. But when I got into this, I asked myself, like, what if I didn't have Grandpa as an example? My parents tell me about him growing up.
Yeah.
Like, because that's been my structure to always believe that I can do it. It's just that we had someone self-employed in the family who was very successful.
Legacy.
But, my parents said, you can do that if you want. But now I imagine, like, a lot of my friends, peers, like, they don't have that. No one told them that they can do it. So when they go to try it, they think they're nuts. You know, maybe I'm crazy, and the self-doubt comes in. Which is, I think that's a huge one is... you keep yourself in check. Make sure you know what direction you're heading, so you can make sure the naysayers aren't right.
I feel like it's like the fail of success as well. Like it's like people would rather keep them down than to actually succeed and take the risk.
A lot of people in your life who are on the same level as you, they don't want to see you succeed in a lot of ways. Like I noticed that being from a small town is that because everyone else was doing the same thing and we all grew up together, that when I became successful. A lot of them didn't see that. They thought, oh, he was the same as me 5 years ago. The difference was that I took a huge risk and I challenged myself and I wanted to grow and I moved away from my hometown. So a lot of them just see it as like, oh, he got an inheritance or something. So I had a lot of naysayers, but the most important people to me were my structure, and I feel like that a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah, it's almost like a sheep herd mentality. They want everyone to be the same.
It is, and people don't like that conversation either. They think, the sheep, because a lot of times it's applied to some, like you get this whole coronavirus thing and the sheep, and somebody like, oh, these call them sheep, but they're doing their thing. I stay out of that. But when it comes down to how we are programmed, how we go to school, the way we kind of comprehend things, what we're raised to do, there is a lot of the sheep and wolf mentality, right? And it's trying to find a good mixture of still being able to, not, it's because a lot of people, they get lost and they're like, I'm a fucking wolf, I'm number one, I'm better than everybody. It's like, no, you're not. You're human just like everybody else. Your mentality is different. But that's why you say, like, you don't look upon yourself as better than anybody else, whether you have a successful venture or not, but to be humble and to be balanced.
I would also say you're your biggest competition, and I think people don't realize that.
The only competition you should have is yourself.
Right.
Your
biggest competition is yourself, for sure. Your mind structure.
Mindset.
Your mindset, where you want to go, where you've been. How you're going to apply that to your future.
Awesome. I'd like to give this opportunity. Any last words? Anything you want to say, Tanner, before wrapping this up?
Can I flex my YouTube channel?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Tire Roasters Garage. Hit that shit up. I got a new venture. I'm doing a YouTube channel. A lot of car burnouts, car stuff, snowmobiling, snowboarding trips, things like that. I got an Instagram that's Tire Roasters Garage, and that's kind of where I'm at.
It's what?
Tire Roasters Garage.
Tire Roasters Garage.
Yeah.
Tire
I
Roasters,
just
one
tagged
word.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, and garage separate word. But yeah, it's just all car shit, sledding, snowboarding, some traveling,
It's the fun
basically
stuff.
send material, right?
Yeah.
Send it. Giver. It's actually pretty
Giver,
legit.
eh?
I keep things honest, and it's legit Canadian content.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're into the goofy send it kind of lifestyle, I'm your guy.
What about your Amazon store?
My Amazon store, that's a weird one because, like, I don't know, it's like you can tell people your storefront, but they can go in there and be like, oh, this guy's fucking selling Furbys and chocolate bars. A lot of people don't give a shit what I sell. They're like, you know, I mean,
That's fair.
it's just because I have the market of millions of people. It's like, I want this thing.
Yeah.
But if I tell people my storefront name right now, they're going to be like, oh, it's Redox Retail.
Yeah.
Don't fucking drop me no negative reviews. I want to fuck this guy up. But so basically...
So they can reach you and like talk to you if they want to at the Tire Roasters.
Tire Roasters Garage,
Okay.
YouTube, and Instagram, and then my Facebook's Tanner O'Crane.
Yeah, yes.
Reach out to me.
Yeah.
I'm always willing to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Tanner.
Thanks, Tanner.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks. Awesome podcast.